are you today?
I'm doing okay.
Okay, and can you just tell me a little bit about yourself so that way I can get to know you better before we get started?
Well, I just graduated high school and I'm 18. I'm in 4-H and I used to play tennis. I have 3 siblings and I'm the oldest.
Okay, and I'm just looking at your chart here, and it says you're here today because you're having some problems with getting along in your relationship with your dad.
Yeah, we've been having problems for a while. They just started to get worse and bother me more just recently.
Okay, and can you tell me a little bit about how you guys aren't getting along and go into a little more detail on that?
Yeah, so we've never really been able to see eye to eye on a lot of things, and I kind of feel like I'm just not allowed to really think for myself, and then he judges my choices a lot.
Okay, and you mentioned that you think it's getting worse recently, and is there any changes that maybe could have led to or caused this?
Well, I just graduated high school, and I'm making plans for college and moving out, so I'm starting to have to make my own plans for that.
Okay, and I bet you're having to make a lot of decisions that just affect you. You're not really having to consult him for any of these, is that right?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, and now can you tell me a little bit more about your dad's personality?
I guess you could just say that he likes to be in control of a lot of things. Like when there are decisions to be made, he likes to have it his way. It's kind of his way or the highway, and it's always been like that.
Okay, and I bet it's hard for you to get your opinions heard, that's what you feel like?
Yeah, I just feel like my opinions never really mattered, and if I ever wanted to say something, he would just shut me out and turn away.
Okay, and did you ever really do anything to combat or like try to fight this?
Yeah, I did at times, but it never really got far, and when I did, it would just lead to big fights when it came to important issues, and I just made things worse.
Yeah, I bet that was really hard. And now can you tell me a little bit about your own personality?
Yeah, well, I would say it's probably really similar to his in that I like to do things my own way. I just guess you could say that I'm a little hard-headed.
Okay. And would you say you've been like this your whole life, or do you think you've changed since you were younger?
Yeah, I think I've always been like this. It's just become more prominent as I've gotten older.
Oh, okay. So would you say that the two of you having similar personalities is one of the things that might be causing the problem between you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think you ever could try to be open to others' ideas, maybe just because being open to one person, being open to others might be able to help?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so right now are you in any sort of relationship?
Yes, I have a boyfriend.
Okay, and how long have you guys been together?
8 months.
Okay, and would you say this relationship is good and going well?
I would say so.
Okay, and now I have a question. I want you to think back. I want you to think back between the ages of 3 and 6.
Okay.
How do you think your father acted and treated you during this time?
Well, I can remember that he was kind of clingy and he wouldn't ever let me do things on my own. He followed me everywhere, and when I was little, I guess he just never really let me learn things the hard way.
Okay. And it must have been hard for you when you were trying to develop your independence, like just learn how things worked in the world?
Yeah, I just remember I'd get really frustrated at times because I wanted to do things myself. Even now, I feel like I can't experience what I should be able to because nothing's good enough for my dad.
Yeah, and you can always think, and do you think, can you think of any ways that this affects you, like in your life now?
In what ways?
Well, it could be in your life in general, or maybe even with your relationship with your boyfriend.
Yeah, I guess since I was never really allowed to be 100% independent, I sometimes find myself being really clingy with my boyfriend. Like sometimes I find myself always asking him for help on things, or other times when we're in a disagreement about anything, he raises his voice at me, and I find myself going back to just being quiet and not really saying anything.
Okay, so you would say that you associate some of the things with your boyfriend with your dad?
Yeah, I guess now that you bring it up, I've never really thought of it that way before. I guess maybe that's probably why it's been so hard to connect with him, because I don't want to be like my dad.
Okay, so now can you tell me a little bit more about how things were when you were in tennis? Like, how did you get along with your teammates, and how was the overall experience for you?
Yeah, it's good, and there's a great atmosphere. I think it really helps. They listen to me, and I can feel like I can always be myself. Even when I was there, I just felt more at ease, and like people weren't judging me as much as they were at home.
That's good. I think it's good for you to have somewhere where you can go and do things like that. Now, you told me you were in 4-H. How's that going?
Yeah, it's going okay for the most part. The only thing is that since I've graduated now, they want me to take on more leadership roles and be in charge of a lot more things.
You seem a little nervous about this. Why is that?
I'm just worried that people are going to make fun of my ideas and judge me. I think I'm just worried that my opinions aren't going to matter to anybody. And maybe I'll get yelled at or picked on or removed from my position, you know?
Yeah. And do you think this maybe because you feel like your opinions never really mattered to you when your dad was around?
Yeah, after talking about all this with you, it has really allowed me to look at things differently and maybe understand things a little bit more.
Well, that's good. Thank you.